You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Guess what? It's that time. Well, we're going to have to do a little bit of improvising, adapting. We got some quick-o, change-o. I am not going to be able to do the Q&A with you guys, so I wanted to record everything. I've got to head out the door, but I'll be back bright and early. We will do more Q&A, folks. It's not over. This, in fact, all of it is a long way from over. You think that the truckers turning things around in Canada, that'll end it? Not even close, folks. This battle, this SHTF for freedom, liberty, this attempt by the political left and the globalists to destroy our nation, is far from over. In fact, I was listening to someone and they're like, you know what? I think I figured it out. This is a commentator, political commentator. He goes, I think they're actually trying to destroy America to bring it down. That's what the globalists and Klaus Schwab, that's what their plan is, I think. I was like, welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, I tell you. Well, let's start with this. Let's just get right into what's going on. In North Carolina, an election board has asserted that it has the authority to disqualify Madison Cawthorn from being elected, right? From being on the ballot. Now, understand, Madison Cawthorn is already serving as representative in North Carolina. But they've got an interesting thing. They're trying to use a clause from the 14th Amendment and which states that someone who is an insurrectionist cannot serve in Congress. Now, the 14th Amendment was written, folks, after the Civil War. They did not want any insurrectionists back in Congress. So they made that part of the 14th Amendment. Well, what exactly is insurrection? Right? Is insurrection knowingly sending legislation into Congress, sponsoring it, writing legislation that violates the constitutional rights of the people? Let's see. Is insurrection, right? If it's any attempt to interfere with and change or destroy the government, isn't basically everything doing that the Democrats are doing, isn't that all against the country, trying to bring the country down, destroy the country? In other words, under the thinking that this North Carolina board is using, they're disqualifying every Democrat, folks. Democrats and rhinos, folks, should be disqualified for giving aid and comfort to the enemies of this nation or working against the Constitution. That's what this insurrection thing is supposed to be about. I say go for it. Keep pushing this, Democrats. Keep it up. Because I think we need to look at insurrection, because if the January 6th protesters, right, if that's an insurrection, standing around being beaten by police officers, then the Democrats have been guilty of that for decades. Yeah, for non-violently impeding. It's this entire thing. It's like a giant headache. It's like a giant nightmare that won't quit. There is no logic. There's no reason with these people. They'll just take any word and say that's what applies in our effort to take over this country. It is incredible, folks. Now, you want to talk about incredible and stupid. Folks, the White House administration, the Biden administration, they're in panic mode. Yeah, they're going to claim that a congressman is an insurrectionist for supporting protesting and then call it insurrection. They're in panic mode politically, folks. That's why they're withdrawing left and right mask mandates, other mandates, rules, regulations. They're saying no more pandemic. They're changing their mind. Oh yeah, folks, they're in panic mode. But they're going to go a step further. They're going to free themselves from any responsibility, and then they're going to blame us for any disruptions in the world. Jen Psaki claims that the Freedom Convoy, that's the one that's in Canada, folks, is more disruptive than the authoritarian mandates that they're protesting against. Folks, isn't that for the people to decide? Not Biden or Trudeau or Little Red Riding Hood there. It's for the people to decide what is more disruptive. It's not up to the media. It's not up to the government. Disrupting a little bit of traffic in a city, how is that more disruptive than shutting down an entire nation? Shutting down the entire planet. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to see the difference, but they don't see it that way, folks. They don't see it that way. People are standing up and fighting back, standing up for themselves in Canada, around the world. And I say to this, right, to the students in the state of Washington who are now choosing to form their own protest. They say, we're done wearing masks. We're done. Brave students, folks, American red-blooded students, God bless them. They're standing up for themselves. They're standing up for each other. They're walking out on teachers. What good is an education if, in order to get it, you have to suffer brain asphyxiation? That's right, folks. That's right. There's actual science out there that demonstrates that if you don't get enough oxygen, your brain, right, suffers. This is incredible what's going on, folks. Kids are saying we're done wearing masks. Good for them. Teachers, schools, you don't get money if students don't come. Oh, would you just wait, folks? They're going to start calling these kids truants, as if that is worse than being a Republican. Isn't that incredible, folks? They want kids to be forced to show up to get their government indoctrination, their Marxist propaganda. It's just going to get wilder and hairier as we go. Whew. Canadian truckers. I'm just going right down the list. Bang, 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 right down the list. Canadian truckers, folks, they're not just in it. They're in it to win it. They're not just saying we want mask mandates done. They're saying all mandates. The Jim Jones juice, your ridiculous requirements, your shutdowns, your restrictions and limitations. In fact, you know what they're asking for now? They want Justin Trudeau's resignation. They want full freedoms back. Good. Don't stop. Keep making demands. These radical globalist puppets in every government around the world, these radical puppets have taken our rights in so many different places, trying to satisfy their masters and screw us over. Don't just ask for one thing back, ask for everything back. And then, yeah, get rid of Justin Trudeau, a complete and total puppet. Incredible, folks. Now, as stated, and I've stated in the past, and I'll state it again, Cerveza bug, the Jim Jones juice, the whole bit, all mandates and regulations and demands, all of it is politicized. It's 100% political, folks. Science be damned. Unbelievable. In a major reversal of Cerveza bug restrictions and how scary it is, the idiot Hawaiian Democrat governor will not require tourists to be boosted. Just in time, folks, to kiss ass for the elections. And you know what? F all the Democrats at this point. I still don't understand how a governor in a state can require people who come into that state to do anything. It's not another country. And free travel from state to state includes the state of Hawaii. Now, I guess that they just go with that whole, well, you're going to either have the Jim Jones juice booster or you have to lock yourselves down for 2 weeks, quarantine. None of this makes any sense, folks, unless you look at it through the prism, the clouded, obscure prison of Democrat stupidity. But it all does serve one thing and serve it well, folks. It serves their political agenda. Now they want to appear to be fair, nice. They're letting up on everyone. Hey, it's cool, right? It's cool. In fact, the governor of Nevada, that's right, the governor of Nevada has also joined in this. You bet. It's not that they agree with freedom, folks. It's not that all of a sudden the science is good. This is a political stunt. Science is politics, right? Statewide masks mandate, including schools in Nevada, now over with. Where was all the public comment? Where were all the town hall meetings? Where was the mainstream media asking the people, is this the right thing to do? You people, what do you want? America, right? Isn't that how the media used to be? Wasn't that how government used to be? Let's find out what the people really want. Well, now they're just like, you know what? Okay, we're done. We're done. Everyone, knock it off. Right? They're suffering in the polls. They know it. People are pissed off and tired of this stuff, folks. Now, I'm going to go over this. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible, and I just can't leave it alone. The Capitol Police, folks, the Washington, D.C., the District of Criminals Police Department have ruled the killing of Roseanne Boyland, a Trump supporter, on January 6th. They're ruling that it was objectionably reasonable to beat her while she was unconscious. In what world is it objectionably reasonable to beat an unarmed woman with a steel baton and a wooden stick till she's dead? It's objectionable, but it's reasonable. You know what world that is? I'll tell you what world that is. That's the same world where the vice president can support violence against police during arsonist and looting riots. And folks, get this. Police, I'm speaking to you. Police better learn they are a weapon of evil politicians. And you're doing that for a paycheck. Because remember, you are also disposable to those same politicians. Figure out if you serve the law or if you serve the lawless. You can't serve two masters. You got one or the other. You need to figure this out, folks. The police in this country, Canada, and everywhere else need to figure this out. Right? Kamala Harris arranging bail for people who are assaulting police officers, murdering police officers, setting fire to police officers, launching fireworks, explosives at police officers. In any other context, if anyone did any of these, including throwing rocks, bricks, burning the eyes out of officers, burning them blind with lasers, you would be arrested and sent to jail for life. But Kamala Harris, Democrat mayors, Democrat judges, Democrat district attorneys don't care about police officers unless it's to protect them. Right? You better learn, because the shit's getting real, folks. In Calgary, Canada, one police officer has gone after all the others and says, hey, I was just following orders is no longer an excuse. You signed up to help people. Stand with your fellow Canadians. They're waking up. Police officers, wake up. Stop arresting pastors. Stop arresting 84-year-old men. Stop arresting unmasked mothers. Stop it. They haven't learned their lesson yet, folks. But understand that this is not government versus the people. This is evil versus the people. And you've got to pick a side to choose. Pick a side to be with. The Ottawa police, folks, they stole the fuel of truckers. They stole their property, fuel. Then they were ordered by a judge to return it. But what they returned, the number I've heard, the number that was reported is 90% of the fuel cans came back half full of water, contaminated fuel. Police in Ottawa, what the hell are you thinking? If you continue, like if you replace the fuel with water, you have violated the court order because you were required to return all the fuel. Moreover, you put water in the fuel, which is a form of sabotage. It is willfully doing something to destroy the property of others. There need to be lawsuits on this, folks. Police, citizens, everybody, pay attention to what's going on. This is going to get nasty. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. People are going to pick sides, folks. They're going to learn the hard way. Apparently, they can't learn the easy way. They're going to have to learn the hard way. Cops, what the hell are you thinking in Ottawa? Cops, what the hell are you thinking in Washington, D.C.? Right? There's good cops everywhere, folks, and there's shitty ones too. There's good people everywhere, folks, and there's shitty ones too. Right? We've got good people in government. We need more of them. We have a lot of evil. Carrie Lake, and I talked about this earlier, basically let the media know and is continuing to let them know here in America and in Australia and anyone else, folks, who wants to listen to this lady. Says the only thing keeping us from being Australia right now or Canada is our Second Amendment. Understand that, folks. Remember, just a couple of weeks ago, Chuck Schumer changed gears and went after the Second Amendment. Then Biden, then the HTF, then the Department of Homeland Security is now looking at you and me, right? The only thing protecting us ultimately, folks, is our Constitution. But when it comes right down to it, and I've said this in the past, for people who don't want to observe the rule of law, we have one final solution. It's called violence. Government loves to use it first and claim it's righteous, right? Might makes right. Ultimately, might solves every question. When someone says that fight never solved anything, no, it solves a lot of problems. But if I were to call for violence or glamorize it, I'd get in trouble. And I could get a knock on the door if I were to try inciting violence. What is it that the bad guys are doing, folks? They're doing everything they can to incite violence in the people. I'm going to switch gears on you a little. How many people have taken the Jim Jones juice? How many? How many people have taken it? How many billions of doses of Jim Jones juice have people slurped down happily? Well, China, folks, has 1.4 billion people. There's almost 8 billion in the whole planet, and China has about a quarter of them. Okay. China has a lot of people, but guess what? There is not a single dose, a single can of Jim Jones juice has been administered in China. Not one has been taken in China. What do they know? Why are they refusing it, folks? It's a big question to ask, especially since China is presumably, supposedly, allegedly where this started, right? We saw Chinese cities locked down and trucks apparently just driving around spraying stuff in the air. How much you want to bet, in all truth, that was just water vapor sprayed out of these distribution trucks to make it look like they were decontaminating the world? It's just asinine. I talked about it 2 years ago. It was asinine then, right? To think that you're going to coat every surface with enough germ killer to kill every germ. It's just the whole thing, folks, is maddening. It is maddening. And here we are having little fights, folks. This is where we're at. They've done all of this to us, and then we're happy and extremely happy because groups like this, the Michigan Patriots Mom, are launching an additional Give, Send, Go to help pay for food to support the Freedom Convoy and truckers. Number one, I'm glad they are. This is, and it will continue to be a huge deal, folks. We're fighting for just scraps with these people, and they're going to try and give us back scraps and expect us to be happy. Like, let's just look back at Hawaii again. Well, you don't have to have the Jim Jones booster to go there, but do you have to have anything else? Can the state ask you for your medical history? Can the state require you take a medication? Any state, folks, Hawaii or not. I know quite a bit about every state in the union. Some states more than others. And it was a giant freaking farce, folks. It makes me sick how these people are playing these games, and we're supposed to be satisfied if they give us just a little bit, right? If they give us just a little bit back. Yeah, we're you fight back a little bit and they claim you're shutting down production. You're damaging the economy because you've shut down a road, a bridge for 3 or 4 days. Unbelievable. And this is the will of the people, not a handful of lunatic Marxist protesters. Today we were told also that the Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation, that it's gone up 7.5%. I call BS. Only 7.5? And then they're saying this is the highest increase in 40 years, higher than expected. No. Looking at the gas price year on year, it's not 7.5%. Is it? Maybe it's 7.5% in the last quarter, but 7.5%? Are you kidding me? I looked at other reports that examine this, and they said nothing of the sort. They said, things have gone up anywhere from 20% to 100%, depending on what exactly we're looking at. Now, of course, the government uses very specific items in its CPI. Well, the market didn't like it anyways. It went up, it went down, it choked. Who knows where it's at this particular moment? By market, I mean the stock market. But the stock market is not the economy. The stock market isn't even a facsimile or a representation of the economy, right? It's a place to put value on things, to own a little piece of it. It's incredible what's happening to this country, folks. It's incredible what's happening to the world. Are you prepared for things to get a lot nastier? A lot nastier. Now, switch, James, just quick change topics again. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has done something fabulous. He has continued to troll and piss off the rest of the country. Well, at least the leftists and Democrats. Because he's done what? He's done one thing, folks. Well, he's done many things, but he's extremely successful. He's successful in building an audience. It's because he's entertaining. It's because he maybe allows people to think for themselves. He's pretty neutral when it comes to a lot of topics. I don't know if it's because he's ignorant or if he just doesn't demand that you believe him the way the mainstream media does. Or perhaps he puts information out there and says, hey, make up your own mind. But he's definitely entertaining, informative, quality content. How's that for building a network of people that want to hear what you have to say? And interestingly, YouTube wasn't able to stop him. Maybe it's because they thought they could control him. Well, he went over to Spotify and took one hell of an audience with him. Right? And now Rumble may get him if Spotify wants to give him up. but that's not done yet. That hasn't been answered yet. I'm sure there's a lot of, what shall we say, a lot of heated discussions over Spotify. Now, Joe Rogan, what did he do? He invited a doctor on, the very doctor that created the mRNA technology that's used in the Jim Jones juice. And he just asked him some questions and let the doctor talk. So, in order to destroy Joe Rogan, they couldn't do it that way. His audience is 10 times that of CNN. They couldn't shout him down. They couldn't talk over him. They couldn't remove him. Right? So then they tried to cancel him, right? Because he used the N-word, right? A word you can hear 100 times a day if you walk in the right room or listen to the right music, right? This is interesting. So this is what he did. Joe Rogan showed up in Austin, Texas at a stand-up, right? A comedy club. And he had a couple of things to say, making fun of the controversy. Here's what he had to say. I haven't used that word in years, but it's kind of weird. People will get really mad if you use that word and tweet about it on a phone number, on a phone that's made by a slave, right? They get really mad at him if you use that word. And then they're going to go and tweet how much they hate Joe Rogan on a phone that's made by slaves. I guess presumably the N-word refers to someone who was a slave. I mean, is that? I mean, the evolution of what words mean these days, I can't keep up with. But let's just presume that's what it means, right? Slave. So they're complaining about a slave term on a technological device that is made by Chinese slaves. Hypocrites, right? He also kind of mocked the idea that people take health advice from him, right? Back to the mRNA thing. He says, I talk shit for a living. That's why this is so baffling to me. If you're taking Jim Jones juice advice from me, is that really my fault? What dumb shit were you about to do when my stupid idea sounded better? You know that dude who made people eat animal dicks on TV? How does he feel about medicine? If you want my advice, don't take my advice. Hey, that's a pretty good comedy line, right? Yeah, that was part of his early, shall we say, professional show, was getting people to eat things for money, weird, sick stuff, right? Yeah. So if you're taking medical advice from him, right? Really, what dumb shit were you about to do when my stupid idea sounded better? But I'm going to go a step further with Joe Rogan. I'm going to say, what kind of world do we live in? How bad is the mainstream media? How unreliable, how uninformative are they that Americans have chosen to get information from someone who made people eat animal dicks on TV rather than the mainstream media? Is that how bad the mainstream media is, that they're like, hey, we don't like that anymore. Let's go listen to the guy who makes people eat animal dicks on TV. That's an indictment, folks. That is a serious case against the mainstream media. So once again, hey, thanks, Joe Rogan. Way to put it out there so we can really understand who we're dealing with on the other side. That's how bad they are, folks. Right? But it's not just America, right? In Finland, a Finnish politician, right? One of their elected officials has, he basically came out and apologized like a big sissy. Then he was forced to resign. What did he do? Look at everything that Hunter Biden has done, Joe Biden done. Look at everything Kamala done. Look at everything Nancy Pelosi's done. Gavin Newsom, Prickster, Governor Gretchen, Governor Brown, Governor Inslee, the governor of New Jersey, the governor, name them all, folks. All these idiots, all the dramatic, stupid they've done. The flip-flopping, the lying, the bullshitting, the multiple mask wearing, Rooster Booster, he changes him, right? What did this guy do? This politician in Finland said Ukraine should not join NATO. You see the difference, folks? Now, in Finland, if you say something stupid as a politician, essentially you're disqualified by the people and you're expected to step down. In America, it's almost a prerequisite and a resume enhancer to be a Democrat and to say stupid things and lie all you want. And then go on mainstream media and do the same. And there'll be no losing your job. Like I said, it's probably a resume enhancer. Unbelievable, folks. The difference when you look at a country that has some integrity and then a country where the politicians have none. You want to believe that we're not an SHTF, you got another thing coming. Now, I want to talk about this really quick. This is a website, www.thebiglogic.com. Thebiglogic.com. It is a huge collection of Cerveza bug information. Thebiglogic.com. Check it out. Thebiglogic.com. This is important, folks. There is a lot of information out there. I don't want to put everything behind patreon.com, but I do want to thank everyone on patreon.com because you're guerrilla supporting, you're guerrilla funding what's going on here. And I need everyone I can over on Patreon. I need everyone to hit the like button. I need everyone to hit, the thumbs up. I need everyone to hit the share button and share these videos. It's that important to get this little address out there because they don't want us to become another Joe Rogan. They don't want more Joe Rogans out there. They want fewer or none, right? They don't want their hypocrisy being pointed out. They don't want what failures they are being pointed out. This is incredible, folks. Now, I asked Jolene to use Mark McCloskey and his wife there, the cul-de-sac commandos from St. Louis. Wanted that to be the thumbnail for this video, right? Mark and Patricia McCloskey, they're put on probation by the Missouri Supreme Court. Why? For defending their home from the BLM mob that broke into their private community, broke a gate, literally broke it, and then began threatening to burn and destroy and kill, right? So their law licenses, the attorneys, for standing on their property, keeping and bearing arms as prescribed by the Second Amendment of the federal Constitution, the Second Amendment of the state Constitution. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So exercising a right in Missouri while directly under death threats is contrary to a code of professional conduct for attorneys, huh? There it is, yet again, folks, cancel culture. It's part of the legal system. All lawyers should feel disgraced by the Missouri Supreme Court. Now, once again, in Finland, if you say one stupid thing, you should resign. Do you think the Missouri Supreme Court, the justices there that came up with this ridiculous ruling, you think they're going to resign? Do you think the district attorney that prosecuted the McCloskeys for defending themselves and their property, their pets, their neighbors? How many people did BLM kill, folks? We don't know. We don't know. Now, this is a big deal also. I'm going to jump overseas. Russia has basically bitch slapped England. And they used an expression that I'm not familiar with, but I'll share it with you anyways. They basically referred to their talk with Britain. Their diplomat talking to the British diplomat said it was like a mute talking to a deaf person. It's an interesting expression I've never heard. Must be a Russian thing. It was like a mute talking to a deaf person. Essentially, folks, what has been underscored here, the divide between NATO countries. Germany and France are basically seeking peace with the Russia-Ukraine thing. They want diplomacy and de-escalation, while England and the United States and some other of the Baltic states appear to be hell-bent on saber rattling and confrontation. NATO is going to end up breaking up, folks. There's going to be countries that leave it. This is a very, shall we say, destabilizing set of circumstances. NATO should be speaking as a cohesive unit, and it's not. It's understandably breaking apart because every country is in dire straits, folks. That's the problem here. Germany needs energy. France needs energy. Germany continues to decommission its nuclear power plants, and France is now extending the life of nuclear power plants and saying nuclear power is an option they have to have. In the meantime, while they're fixing their problems or making them worse in the case of Germany, they're going to need more Russian energy. The lights go out if they don't fix these problems. And if you keep threatening Russia and then saying that false flags are going to be created, and they're just begging for somebody to do one stupid thing, and we've got World War III in Eastern Europe. What makes it worse, folks, is where are they going to get their energy if we have that kind of war? If you have literal bombs, rockets, missiles, tanks rolling around in Europe, as Germany and France are allies, England is not. Finland, who knows what the hell they're going to do. But the rest of the countries are going to have to choose which side they want to be on. What's more important? Freedom and liberty? Energy? Food? Yeah, all those things are important, huh? Every time I think it's, they're trying to get their shit together, folks, they seem to be splitting things up more. Stupidity. Well, speaking of stupid, let's come back here domestically. The Department of Homeland Security, that's right, the veritable Department of Homeland Security here in the United States of America. Nope. It's in the United States. That little piece of scummy dirt called the District of Columbia. That's where the DHS is. They are warning that a domestic trucker convoy here in the United States could soon begin, and it could disrupt, you know what they say it could disrupt, folks? The Super Bowl. Really? The Super Bowl? The Super Bowl's just in a few more days. And a trucker convoy could disrupt that. How? By not delivering the Doritos on time? Because there just wouldn't be enough Budweiser beer or some other cheap beer out there for everyone to go buy? This is the threat that the government, the Department of Homeland Security, sends to turn Americans against a free speech movement, right? A movement for liberty. Do you think America wants the Super Bowl, or do you think they want to be mask-free, mandate-free, basically free? I mean, I know football is football. Right? It's one of the great American sports, but it's certainly not basketball. I mean, get this, former PGA Tour, pro golfer, tour player, fired by Sirius Radio because he said the WNBA sucks. Yeah, I mean, the NFL basically sucks. Right? Pro sports sucks because of the crap they've done, but the WNBA really sucks, folks. But I mean, expressing an opinion, I don't think it was a misogynist statement or a racist statement. I think it was just a statement of fact, right? Even having a standard opinion can get you canceled and fired, folks. And nobody likes the WNBA. Nobody. Right? I don't know anybody that likes the NBA, much less the WNBA. Right? I wouldn't go to a WNBA game if I was given a free ticket, a set of tickets, a family set of tickets to anywhere to watch the game. I wouldn't go to a WNBA game if you paid for parking and gave me a box seat with free drinks, because I don't want to go to a WNBA game. I don't want to deal with parking and walking to get into a WNBA. I mean, what the hell? This guy's totally right. The WNBA sucks. But yeah, the Super Bowl could be disrupted. How? Wherever it's being played, I'm sure the truckers will not blockade the Super Bowl. They're going to blockade government, because the government has put up a, shall we say, blockade against our rights, our liberties, our freedoms. One more thing, folks, and then I'll let you go. I want to thank you for supporting this channel. I need you on Patreon. I need you to hit thumbs up, right? If you're new here, be sure to hit subscribe. All of that stuff. Here we are. Once again, the Department of Homeland Security from Washington, D.C. They confirm that it's monitoring reports, folks, of potential danger in the country. They're continuing to monitor reports of a potential truck convoy. That's right, folks. They're monitoring reports of protests. But it ignores actual violent Antifa and BLM criminal actions. Okay, I got it. I get it now. It's really not about law and order, folks. It's about politics. It's really not about free speech. It's about politics. It's not really about voting. It's about politics. It's not really about cerveza bug or the Jim Jones juice. It's about politics. Politics is about power. Politics is about money. Politics is about control. That's what this is all about. Ultimately, it comes down to this. And that's why the Constitution was written as a document to authorize government to act in just a few areas. And that the Bill of Rights and other limitations and restrictions were placed upon government because the people did not want power and control to be exercised against them, us. It was written as a document to secure our freedoms, our liberties, our rights, and to ensure that they would not be impeded by tyrannical scumbags. Here we are in the year 2022, folks. And the DHS, a government law enforcement institution, is monitoring reports of a potential protest against their abuse of power. That's what's important to them, folks, maintaining their power. They locked us down, folks. But if you try protesting against that, if you do something that affects traffic, right? If the people want to fight back, no, that's not allowable. That's damaging. What the government does isn't damaging. What you do is. Give me a break. We all see through their lies, folks, but they don't care. They're going to keep lying. The weekend is upon us, folks. We made it through another week of this ridiculous shit, and it will get worse. Oh, they're going to make it better in one way, folks. They're going to let up on their restrictions. They're going to make it sound like they want freedom. Oh, like the pandemic is over. They're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Can you handle the truth? Then you need to be prepared, because that's what the truth is pointing to, that things are going to get nasty. Chance favors the prepared mind. Are you ready? It's hit the fan, folks. Do you think it's going to get better? Or is what we just talked about and the track record that these people have, is it strong enough for you to see what's coming next? Is history as our guide sufficient to let us know what these tyrants will do next. With history as our guide, and the words being spoken today, and the actions taken by other nations in contemporary times, both history and now, is it sufficient for you to see how life-threatening their promises, their threats are? Concentration camps, death camps, mandated poisons, unbelievable. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed.